After working almost 20 years in the mental health field, this is what I know for sure about some of the most difficult children to raise per astrology. These children all have one thing in common is that they're not very good at compromising. It's your job as a parent to make the compromise seem like a deal to them. Number one is Scorpio, emotional, needy, controlling, manipulative, and fiery. Those are some of the bags of goodies that a Scorpio will put out. In spite of all of that, what your little Scorpio needs is emotional stability. So be the steady force in their world. Be the person that they can bring every emotion to, knowing that it's going to be okay. Number two, Aquarius, stubborn, rebellious, argumentative, and highly intelligent. They're also not easily manipulated. So if you try any of those manipulative techniques with them, they have no problem shutting you out and shutting the whole family out when they get to be 18. They don't need you. What your little Aquarian terror needs from you during those moments is space. Your Aquarius child requires respect. In fact, they demand it. They cannot have a collaborative relationship with you if you do not value and respect them as a human being. It is important to them that fundamentally you see them as a human being, not as a child, but as a human being, and that you give them the same respect you would give to any other human being. So space, their own space to process their world is important. That's how you show them respect. Number three, Taurus, they're inflexible. They can be lazy. They don't do well with transitions. When the schedule changes, your Taurus child is going to throw a fit. What do you mean we're doing it differently today? That's not how we did it yesterday. A Taurus child needs their comfort. The things that you give them yesterday that made them feel comfortable, they expect that every single day. And when you start to change things around, they get scared. But they don't have the language yet to communicate that to you. So what that's going to look like is an immovable object. It's a lot of stubbornness, a lot of digging their heels in, a lot of finding passive-aggressive ways to shut you out so that they don't have to do what you're asking them to do. And to make matters worse, Taurus children do not listen very well. It's their way or their way. It's not their way or your way. They think their way is the best way. So they're not very good at following rules. What your Taurus child needs more than anything is peace. Because Taurus really likes stability. So if in spite of life transitions, which, we're adults, we know life changes, and we have to adjust, but children's brains don't work that way. So the one thing you can do as a parent to provide that added reassurance is to give them peace and comfort during difficult periods for them. If you know they're going to have to do things differently and you know that's hard for them, then what else can you do to make it easier? So, if you know your Taurus child is going to be struggling with something, a transition that's coming, what can you do that you know they like that can make them feel more safe, more comfortable, more at peace? Because really all they want is peace and quiet. Number four, Leo. Your Leo child is going to be high energy. They're rambunctious, they're passionate, they laugh from their soul, they just want to eat life up like a spoon of ice cream. They're here for this ride and they want to enjoy every tidbit of it. If a Leo baby is paired up with a parent that doesn't have a lot of high energy, that's already going to be a problem because that child needs a lot of stimulation to stay engaged with you. Leo is a performer. They want to do a good job as a child, but unfortunately, they're also self-centered and full of pride. And because of this pride, they often get into arguments with their siblings because they always want to be the best one. And unfortunately, when they're born in a family where they're not the only one, they struggle because they hate the idea of anybody doing anything better than them. They just think they should be the best at any and everything. So naturally, that will create a lot of drama. And drama is what Leo cannot live without as a child, even if they're quiet. They're always competing with everything and everyone. And when they perceive other people to be getting more attention than them, it's a problem. Your Leo is not afraid to fight. They're not afraid to stand up for themselves. They're not afraid to stand up for what's right. They're not afraid to stand up for other people that are being picked on. Leo is a hero at heart. So yes, You have to have a lot of emotional maturity to be able to raise a Leo because their passion can go from 0 to 100. What your Leo child needs is to know that they are loved and they need emotional consistency from you. They need emotional stability from you. But more than anything, they need boundaries because they get ahead of themselves a lot of time. Their cockiness gets them in trouble a lot of times. So you have to be very clear as a parent about what's okay and what's not okay. And when they violate boundaries, you got to be clear about giving them the reward they deserve based on their performance. Because they like performing, they're going to catch on. Anyone surprised that all of the fixed signs are on this list? Well, you shouldn't be. Moving on to the next zodiac sign that likes performing and it is a tad bit difficult to raise, and that would be Aries. Much like Leo, Aries as a zodiac sign is a fire sign. So that makes them high energy, impulsive, deeply passionate, temperamental, and highly emotionally needy. And just like all the other signs, Aries as a child does not take direction from others very well, because they only listen to themselves fundamentally. Aries is a zodiac sign that basically is ruled by their own gut. This is why Aries makes some of the best surgeons in the world, because they know instinctively how to survive in any environment, because Aries is bred for war. So when it comes to making decisions, if their gut doesn't feel good about it, Aries is not doing it. Even though they might be acting like a little stinker right now, what your Aries child really needs is a lot of praise. Okay, when they're scared, they're going to have a tantrum. When they're sad, they're going to have a tantrum. Even when they're happy, they're going to have a tantrum. They just like to roar. They like to rage. They like to be angry. They get fueled by anger and the dramatics that come along with it. As a parent, you want to use that zest to your advantage. So start competitions, okay, where they have to compete for good behavior and give them a reward. Start a reward board where you clearly state the rules and watch your little Aries baby try to outshine themselves. When it comes to Aries, the combination is very simple. Praise, competition, and reward. You can transform their entire attitude with that. And lastly, number 6 is Virgo. Your Virgo child wants to do a good job. Most of the time, they will outshine your expectations. However, the issues with Virgo are more of an emotional nature. You see, despite being the child that does the best work and that works the most and who's the most clean and the most organized, they feel the worst about themselves. As a parent of a Virgo, you should know this about them. They are highly self-critical. It's really hard for them to feel good about themselves, to feel good about their lives, even when they're doing all the right things. Virgo lives with an internal critic that makes it hard for them to feel satisfied with life, and that critic shows up at a very young age. To make matters worse, Virgo's also not a very good listener. So even as a parent, when you try to reassure them that, you're doing great, how about you try it this way, they don't want to hear it. They want to do it their way because they're also very mechanical with how they do things. So if Virgo perceives something to be the only way and the right way, that's what they want to do. In spite of all their criticism and lack of gratitude, what your Virgo child really needs is a lot of emotional comfort. They need reassurance, they need encouragement, and they need the space to try things on their terms. So give them the space to test their boundaries for responsibilities, and always, always encourage them when they're striving for something that they don't think they can accomplish.
You can book your astrology reading at intuitivehealing.com. You can also watch videos at Intuitive Healing here on YouTube for Astrology 101 content. Listen to the Aquarius podcast on Spotify, as well as here on YouTube for your horoscope. If you're interested in astrology and love connections, you can visit at Styled Under Libra. And of course, for health and wellness and holistic healing, visit at Styled Under Virgo for all of your astrology content. Thanks so much for watching.